All right, guys. Today is Memorial Day, and I'm not really making a Memorial Day video. Actually, it has nothing to do with Memorial Day, but I hope you're enjoying your time off if you got it. Some people don't, but fortunately I do. And it's worthy to take notice of and think about why we really celebrate it. But today has not seemed like a paid holiday for me because, well, I've taken all this week and next week off because we're helping my father-in-law move to Michigan. So he's kind of scurrying about trying to tie up all the loose ends and make sure that he has his ducks in a row before he goes to closing Wednesday morning. And he's very nervous. Now he's 71, 72 years old, something like that. He's 50. He's 15 years older than me, so that would make him 71, I guess 15, 16 years older than me. And he doesn't move around very well, so now he needs a lot of help. He's got really bad arthritis in his knees and whatnot, and he's not the most patient person in the world. I like him, but he's kind of a challenging person at times. And so this ride to Michigan should be interesting. And we're driving him up there because he has a lot of anxiety about flying. He won't fly, right? And I said, well, maybe he could take a train. No, he doesn't want to take a train. Now, I guess in a way, I guess I feel like I could put my foot down and say, well, I'm just not going to do it. That's not my problem. But my wife's extended family, cousins, all of her relatives, they all live up there. And she thought she'd make a little vacation out of it. And I said, well, why not? I'll get a chance to make some videos while we do it. And after all, it'd be kind of a tax write-off, right? So we've been over there on and off for the past several weeks. Maybe for over a month, probably. And this is one of the things I don't like about situations like this. When I say situations, I'm talking about people moving that are going to leave the area, or maybe someone has died, right? They're vacating the premises. They're not coming back for whatever reason. Usually one of those two. And what happens invariably is everyone gets asked, what do you want? Do you want this? Do you want that? I'm the kind of person, I'm not a minimalist. Okay? But I also don't want everybody else's stuff. Right? I just don't. I already have too much stuff. And really, if it was just me, I wouldn't have that much stuff at all. Right? And I certainly don't want to inherit anybody else's stuff. Because stuff, to me, amounts to basically garbage. Now, not everything is garbage. If there's pictures and sentimental knickknacks that remind you of someone, that's a little bit different. Okay, like my father-in-law, my mother-in-law passed away some years ago, 5-6 years ago. So it's just been him for a while. And so I can see some things being turned into, well, I want this because it makes me think of my mother and whatnot. But then it becomes about everything. And every time we go over, I'm just going to put this out by the road if no one wants it. And do you want it? And then everyone scratches their head and has this quizzical look on their face because they've never thought about actually wanting that before. The thought has never entered their mind that they would possibly need this, let alone want this. And then their mind just helps them make up some excuse as to why they should have this now. And the whole time, I'm standing there going, no, we don't want that. No, I don't have room for that. No, and then my wife will look at me like, well, You know, that was quick to answer, basically. I'm like, no, we don't want that. No, I don't want your food. No, I don't want your saw. No, I don't want the bike. No, I don't want the dirty framed stuff that you have on your, because no, I don't want any of it. No, I don't want your stuff. I hope my wife doesn't see this video. She won't like it very much. But it's the truth. We get attached to stuff. We assign meaning to things that don't last. Inanimate objects that really have no more meaning than what we give to them. And in reality, really, that there's no meaning in the things themselves. It's just what they represent. It's all something that goes on inside of here. And I've been plenty of places. I've been in plenty of homes of older people where they just had so much stuff. I think to myself, I would hate to be the children that have to come in someday. They have to back up a big dumpster and haul out 95% of the things you have in there and just throw it in there. At some point, in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, you're gonna, well, the bubble's gonna burst. You're gonna realize that I don't need any more of this stuff. And then you're like, okay, now none of it means anything. So when my father passed away 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago, my father was a preacher, and he had a lot of books, a lot of theological books, and he had a big collection of theological commentaries, big ones. I mean, just big collection of them. And my mom gave them to me. And here's the thing. I am someone who does not put an emphasis on things. I just don't. In fact, what I try to do is I actually try to get rid of things before I become attached to them. You know, like when my father died, I purposely erased his voice messages that were left on a recorder. This is back during the day when things were left on a recorder. You know, I don't know how to explain it. I mean, I guess things can still work like that, where you don't erase voice messages, but you know, back then you actually had a recorder, right? Maybe it was a digital recorder, but you had some kind of a recorder. And I erased them. I didn't want to hear that anymore. And that might sound bad to some people, but I just know how people are. They become attached to things. And these books that I got from my mother, I actually donated them. I can't even remember who I donated them to. People that could have used them. I don't know if it was a seminary or I don't know who it was. And sometime later, somebody told me, I can't believe you did that. I don't need to hold on to somebody else's things so that I can remember them. I don't need to accumulate and acquire massive amounts of things to make myself feel better so that someday somebody else will have to inherit them so that they can remember me. I don't want anybody to inherit anything from me, except maybe money, which they're not going to, because I don't have a lot of it. But I don't want people to inherit things from me to remember me. I want the memories of me, the interactions we had together, you know, the humanity between us. I want that to be why and how people remember me. And I'm not saying that a person is wrong for collecting things that other people had to remember them by. And some things can be found to be very useful. But my word, you know, this is why I stopped collecting things a long time ago. I realized this in my teen years. When I was a young teenager, I started collecting different things like I loved Garfield the cat. I collected everything Garfield. And then it got to the point where it was like, oh wow, this is just too much. And I just somehow or another got rid of it. When I was a little boy, I collected Matchbox cars. I don't know what happened to those. I collected martial art magazines. I had tons of those. What happened to them? I have no idea. No idea. But if I had held on to those things, somebody else would have thought one day, I need to keep those because he had those. Now I feel like I'm just rambling on and on about the same thing. But I guess my point is that at what point do we stop needing things? And oh man, I tell you what, quite frankly, anytime someone asks me, do you want this? I have this thing. Do you want it? I always say no, because I can just picture my garage filling up. And it's not just these situations that stimulate an interaction like this. It could just be people trying to get rid of things they don't want anymore. You know what I'm talking about? We had a neighbor years ago, older couple, and she came over. She had like a bunch of magazines that were really old. She goes, I don't want these anymore, but I thought, she's telling my wife this, but I thought you might want them because you might find something in there that you like. Something of that nature. She doesn't want it. It's garbage to her now. She got some use out of them, but they're no longer useful to her. I get, it's not, okay, I'm probably being kind of mean. What I want to say is, so you're trying to pawn your garbage off on us now. It wasn't really garbage to her. She was just, but it becomes garbage to us. Because you know what? We're never going to look at that stuff. I think the garbage is exactly where they ended up. But, I mean, I can't stand that. It just drives me up the wall. I don't collect things. I stopped doing that many, many years ago. I try to get rid of things as much as possible. In fact, when I think about buying something new, like this camera that I'm recording on today, which is an Insta360 Go Ultra, when I think about doing that, I deliberate long and hard about it because it's acquiring another thing. It's not because I'm cheap. It's just that I ask myself over and over again, do I really want this? Do I really need this? Or do I just love the idea of having something new, of collecting something? And but if I end up making the purchase, then I know I'll use it. But man, I'm all the time trying to find a way to get rid of things. In fact, I do get rid of things that my family has in the garage, and they have no idea that I do this. I get rid of these things little by little in a way that they don't notice, that they'll never know, because it's so gradual. But it helps me deal with it, right? So don't tell them that I just told you that, because they will not be happy. Well, the only one that wouldn't be happy about it would be my wife. But the truth is, here's the way I look at it. If it ends up in my garage at all, whatever it is, if you say, hold on to this for me, I'll get this at a later date, I just can't, I don't have any place for it now, it's garbage. Otherwise, you would find room for it somehow, some way. Because you know what happens? It'll sit in my garage. I'm saying this about very specific things. It'll sit in my garage forever if I let it. No, I don't do that. How do you feel about that? Does that resonate with you? Does that make sense to you? Do you feel the same way? Or do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I'm unjust for being this way? Like, you can say whatever you want, but let's keep this little secret between you and I about me getting rid of things. All right? Okay. All right, guys. I will let you go. I'm going to try to keep you posted on what's going on. We're going to be taking off to Michigan Thursday morning. Wee hours of the morning. It's a 19-hour drive. I'm going to see if we can do it in one fell swoop. But it really depends a lot on her father, because he's kind of decrepit at this point. He's physically taxed. Like, so it's going to obviously take longer. So I'll probably be making videos on my way up there and on my way back. While I'm there, I'm hoping I can go back through Indiana on my way back and stop at some of the towns I grew up in. Make some videos and show you where I grew up and things about my family and stuff. Anyway, all right, guys, I do thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. In the meantime, be wise.